Hello and welcome to the channel and the warm-up playlist. If you are finding these videos useful, then please do hit that subscribe button, as it is the best way to stay up to date with the latest posts. Today I'm diving straight into the full body release. So pop on clothes that are old or you can move in freely and let us begin. So I hope you've got your comfortable clothes on. I've got my raggedy jumper and my tracky bottoms. Something that you can wear to allow yourself free movement. You want to be able to reach in all directions and move all limbs in any directions. In fact, I'm going to take my glasses off for this, because who knows what we will be doing. I mean, there is a plan. So the bodily warm-up, this is perfect if you're limited on space, like myself. So from this moment, just start copying what I'm doing. This is a light spiral with arms heavy, not really engaged. And you're allowing your head to form this sort of spiraling motion. Now, whilst we are doing this, I will explain how the process of warming up will be through the body, then the breath, then the voice. We do it bit by bit in order to avoid straining either muscles, your vocal cords, and everything in between. Very laid back. This is your private time when warming up. So, let us begin. Just stand for a moment. Stand and breathe. You're not performing to anyone, especially if this is something you want to do in your own private time. Just check in with your body. How are you feeling? Personally, I have a little ache behind my left shoulder blade. I'm just going to keep an eye on that mentally. Otherwise, I feel pretty good. So let us start engaging into a stretch and some yawns. And take them into all directions. You'll notice how sounds are quite funny through a yawn. Sounds like you're working in slow motion. But you'll also know, or notice rather, that any sound you make during a yawn, as loud as it is, very rarely do you hurt yourself, because the vocal cords have been retracted and there's nothing really getting in your way. Anyway, continue with this stretching. Just allow your body to go in any area that you want it to go in. You can either be quite ragdolly, quite active, but nothing should be a real strain. We are not building muscle with these exercises, we are releasing them and allowing breath to travel into your body with more ease and less strain. So then start to think of yourself as quite liquidy. I would say as well at this point, you can look around the room and allow your gaze to go where you want to go, but try and do this without closing your eyes. This is a warm-up. We are not going into a Zen-like state of inward readiness. We are making ourselves awake. We are awakening ourselves, our body, our voice, and your own sense of being. So now you have done those stretches and yawns. Again, you do it in your own time. If you see things that I'm doing and think they look interesting, go ahead and copy them. Anything that I'm doing at the moment is with the purpose of release. So I think that's a good thing to remember. Anything you see I'm doing is directed towards being released. So we shall now go into spine rolls, 3 spine rolls. I will do the first one facing you, so you understand what I'm doing. And I'm going to do it whilst breathing out on a f sound. That is an F, but just the sound. And I'm going to lead from the head and just let the weight of my head pull my body down. Again, no strain. I'm basically letting gravity do the work.
Once you are down here, sorry, I'm very close to the microphone now, so sorry if this is loud. Once down here, don't let your knees buckle like this. Keep them straight, but not locked all the way back. Nice and soft. And breathe there. Just allowing your spine to elongate. And sigh 3 times down here, trying to let your body drop a little further, but again, without forcing it, with every breath, with every sigh out. 1, 2. Let that head be heavy. 3. Just nod your head gently whilst you're down here. And then through gently bending the knees, we're going to start rolling up. Now the sensation should be your spinal cord building 1 vertebrae at a time until eventually your neck brings up your face and you're staring forward. Just let yourself do a couple of these spirals again. And now we're going to do it 2 more times. Every time that we get down and we're flopped over, allow those 3 breaths to happen, 3 sighs. Imagine that your spine is elongating, releasing. I can't emphasize enough how important it is not to strain anything. So you're not forcing your spine to get longer. Just when you're hanging over, just imagining gravity pulling your spinal cord towards the ground. And if you may hear creaks and cracks going on, that's fine. Just let them happen and let your body elongate and be released. I'll do it from the side now. So this is the second spine roll, and again on an F sound whilst going down. So looking forward, eyes open, breathing in and let that breath spring into you again. Knees not locked all the way back, just soft enough. Arms are loose. And we're going to do those 3 breaths again. 3 sighs. Maybe your body drops forward a little bit with each exhale, with each sigh out. Nod that head. Should be nice and loose. You don't want to be holding yourself like this. Nice and loose. And we come up again, first through bending the knees, dropping the backside, and then building the spine 1 vertebrae
at a time until we come to upright. Have that little shake off, that little spiral, and into the third and final spine roll. So again, see the world, see the room around you. Breathe in And on an F sound, allow your head to pull your spine towards the ground. Let gravity do the work.
And 3 sighs. Release that head. Nod slightly. Whilst you're down here, allow your body to rock from side to side. Let your arms wrap a little bit around each leg as you move from side to side, and then slowly bring that to a stop. Inhale, bend the knees, drop the backside,
And bring up the spine, the neck, and the face. And one little spiral. Great. Give yourself a little shake in the legs. All calm movements, all movements within your means. Right, now we will release the body bit by bit, but starting from the feet. So, you can see my homemade slippers. Lifting your leg, allow your foot to be shaken. Shake it around. Point, flex, point, flex. Maybe don't lift it as high as I'm lifting it so you can see it in the camera. But that level will be fine. But point, flex, point, flex. I will do it like this for you. Point, flex, and just shake it. Shake it like that. Find your balance and shake your foot. And place gently on the floor. Same again with the other foot. A little shake. Nice and loose, remember, until we turn it into a point, flex, point, flex. You can keep it low. That was just to show you. Shake, 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 shake. And place lightly on the floor. Now the knee. Going to lift it again and start spiraling that calf, or rather rotating it, little circles, and the other way. Clockwise, anti-clockwise. Alternate the two. And then onto the other leg. Little spirals, little circles. Again, I must emphasize, nothing in this warm-up should be a strain. And little shakes. Now we're going to move up into the hip area. So raise that knee and do a sort of figure of 8. If you need to find your balance, go for it. Even if you need to prop yourself against the wall, you can. Just move that leg in nice figure of 8s and see if you can maybe reverse it. Always a bit tricky. And then shake it out to the side 3 times. 1, 2, and on the third, just let out a little noise. Oh. Now the other leg. Nice figure of 8 movement, releasing those hips. Nothing strenuous, just movements within your means. You don't want to be forcing it too far. If it only goes up to there, that's as far as you'll take it. And then move it back in. See if you can reverse it. I always find that tricky. There we go. And 3 shakes. And some sound on the third. Oh. Now one of my favourites. Imagine that your pelvis, your hips, is a bowl of water, and you're just gently sloshing the water. You do it from the side as well, so you get an idea of the movement forward and back. And then also side to side. Try and keep it quite isolated, so your spine and chest are near enough staying in the same position. It's just your hips and pelvis that is moving. And turn those into little circles as well. And then some figure of eights. We love our figure of eights. And again, always tricky, try and reverse that figure of eight. And bring to center. Now, try to think of your chest and your stomach in this area to isolate again. So now this time the hips are staying still, but your chest is going from side to side. Remember, no strain. Just easy movement, forward and back. Just the chest. There will be some movement in the hips, but focus on the spine going back and forward. And then you can turn those into circles as well. Back the other way. And bring to center. Now, just imagine your neck is nice and elastic, nice and loose. Let your hands be at your side, but they're dropped. There's no engagement. I could lift up my arm and it's going to fall back to my side. Breathe in, and then on an F sound again, you're going to nod the head. Little movements, and then on that F sound, allow it to travel to the left. And then we'll travel back to the center and then over to the right. So here we go. If you run out of air, breathe in and start again. I run out before I got to the right, so I'm going to breathe in and continue. Now imagine your nose is a laser pointer and you want to draw a figure of eight on the wall in front of you. You may notice that we do like figure of eights with warm-ups, but it's a nice, sustained, free flow movement to help release muscle and tension. Here we go, a few of those. Then just let gravity pull your head to one side. If it gets that far, it gets that far. I don't want anyone forcing it down lower than it should go. So gravity takes it to there, then the natural resistance in your neck means this is as far as it will get. Then up to the center, then over to the other side. Same deal. And whilst you're there, if you want to do little raindrop finger taps on your neck, and then up, back to center. Let's do a couple more spirals. Some shoulder rolls. Now, right hand, give it a shake. Turn that into the arm. Then rotate your elbow backwards 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And again, space dependent, take that into your arm. 1, 2, 3. And a few shakes to bring it back down to your side. Same again on the other side. Remember, these movements aren't strenuous, it's just movements. Think of it as lubricating the joints. I know how funny that sounds, but if you have that image in your head of joints that can move easily, are well lubricated, just the image of that within you will help release the muscles as well. So we bring the movement into the left hand, into the arm, then 3 elbow rotations backwards, 1, 2, and 3, and then the whole arm, 3 as well. Very light movements. 1, 2, let those knees bend as well, 3, and bring back to your side. And then just to consolidate those movements, just allow yourself to move freely. It's a little bit Rainbow Rhythms for anyone who likes Peep Show. But this is your private work, who cares? No one's looking at you apart from yourself. So you can afford to be a bit silly. Now, we're going to open up the ribs a little bit. This does fall into the work for breath work, which is in the following video, but I think it is also good to get a sensation of release in between your ribs on both sides and include that as part of your release work as well as your breath work. So first of all, right arm up, straight up, and then let the hand pull you over to one side, and then breathe in. And when you exhale on that F sound again, just very lightly tap those ribs. Breathe in again, and we're going to do that 2 more times. And just let that hand shake out. Shake out the left hand, rise up, let the hand pull you over. And again, 3 Fs, and tapping the ribs on this side. And let that hand fall back down to your side. A quick shake if you need to. Check in with your body again. See how you are feeling. This is completely personal and up to you. If you still feel like you have an ache somewhere, then gently stretch and breathe into it. But again, you're not forcing anything. So I still feel as though I have a little bit of a tension behind my left shoulder blade. So I'm just going to picture that little knot, if you will, and breathe into it very gently and stretch. Whatever works for you, remember that is one of my strong messages with this channel. Whatever works for you. If you feel like you have strain in your neck, then go ahead and just gently stroke your neck. We're not pulling, we're not straining, we're not wrenching. If you feel you have tightness somewhere, you'll have a lot of release potential in just placing hands and stroking and letting your own body heat release the tension. The moment you start overly straining things, parts of your body, is when you start to hurt yourself. And that's not what we want to do during a warm-up. So last exercise to open up the ribs. We have done the fold over and tapped the ribs to try and open them up. Now we're just going to increase the stretch a little bit more by doing some reaches and steps. As you step over to the right, just feel that stretch in between your ribs. Again, you're not forcing anything, just enough to just feel the rib cage opening and lightly stretching. And we'll do 4 on each side, so 8 overall. I've already lost count, but just remember 8, 4 on each side, because you don't want to overdo it. And then that sensation of stretching on the side, we're going to transfer to the back of the ribs by reaching forward like so. So you're still stepping to one side, but rather than reaching up, you're going to reach forward. So a little something like this. Let's see if I can do this on the side. So step to the side, but reach forward. And you can feel in your back there a nice stretch. Again, don't force it. Just enough to engage the muscles, pull them apart a little bit, but not causing any damage. We should do the same on the other side. I'm just rotating to allow you to see what I'm doing. You can do it face on. No need to dance around the room. That sensation there on the back of the ribs. So that's what we will do, 4 on each side again. Step and reach forward. Don't forget to breathe. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And come to a standing position. Feet shoulder width apart. Head upright, arms by your side. Breathing, looking around the room. Feeling how your body feels. Just testing the boundaries of your movements. There you go, you will get a few clicks. Nothing to worry about. You only need to worry about clicks and pangs when they start to really hurt. But if you're just bending down and your knees start to click, it's okay. But we don't want you forcing things and causing massive cracks and injuries. So let us finish with one final spine roll. Out on a F sound again, that is F. So breathe in and let the head pull you down.
Once all the way down, 3 more sighs. And then bend those knees gently. The backside comes down. Bring up the vertebrae of the back, which brings up the neck and face. Little spiral. And then after all of that work, don't feel like you have become a tin soldier who's warmed up their body because you've been told to warm up. If you want to dance around the room or feel however you want to feel after a warm-up, great. The idea is to release tension, release inhibition, to be a bit silly. And then we move on to breath work. So that's releasing the body. This process varies from person to person. What I wanted to show you with these exercises was basically working from the bottom up, making sure your limbs are loose,
your legs, your arms, elbows, shoulders and neck, and your ribs. You can do these exercises really in any order, but remember, warming up, we're going body first, then breath, then the voice. I'm talking through these explanations to help you, but basically the only sound we would have made during that warm-up was ugh. Everything else was breath, was an F sound, was the sound of limbs moving. If there's one thing I want to pass on from this warm-up process, is the more loose you are in your body, the more released you are in your body, the easier it will be to respond to what is happening to you in the moment. When you're either doing your audition, if you're on stage with your scene partner, on set with someone who's this close to you, and then you have a camera this close to you, it allows you to respond. I will touch very briefly now into the wonder that is the Meisner technique. You may have heard of this, and I mentioned it briefly in another video. One of the first exercises in the Meisner technique is repetition. Two people will come and do an exercise with each other, face each other, and basically just say what they see. So if this person opposite me has a black jacket, I say black jacket, black jacket. And they repeat, black jacket, black jacket. Whatever I say, they say. Whatever they say, I say. And it's the ability to forget what you're doing with your body and focus on someone else. Listen. It's a brilliant exercise in listening. But if your body is loose and released, you will be able to respond a lot better to the other person. So that is a brief side note and a brief side tangent, but I do want to bring to your attention the importance of warm-ups. It isn't just making funny shapes and sounds, it is all leading towards being on stage, being on camera, being in an audition. You have now readied yourself for breath work. Although we were a little bit cheeky and included some rib stretches there at the end, which does relate to breath work. It releases the ribs, creating more space to breathe. Don't expect mammoth changes immediately. This work takes a while and is meant for daily use. I find it a brilliant way to start the day out of bed and do variations of the exercises you have just seen. As you can see, this sort of work is probably best done in private. Maybe not the best thing to pull out in front of other auditionees at your audition, but again, who am I to tell you what to do or what not to do at your own audition? The next post will be breath work, the link to which is right here. In that video, we will be getting the breath moving, making it feel as though it's coming from deeper within you and allowing you greater capacity. You have probably noticed that Shakespeare's sentences or thoughts requiring a single breath are really quite long, spanning many, many lines. It is my hope that the next set of breath exercises will help you attack such sentences or such long thoughts. Keep the exercises up and have fun. It's a play, darling. My name is Kai, but you can call me Caius.